Tatiana, I'm curious to hear your thoughts. So you are uh, multi-talented. You're looking at the cost. You're looking at ROI for people as well as having a deep knowledge of ultrasound. So how would you characterize or talk people through this objection about ultrasound being expensive to adopt? How would you walk them through that?
Yeah, I kind of think of three different parts to this. So one is kind of direct revenue from doing POCUS. So that's for people in fee-for-service contracts. POCUS comes with limited ultrasound CPT codes. You basically save your images, document them, and then you can bill for those CPT codes. So pretty easy. And even if those CPT codes are not in your private payer contracts, you can still use this test to, for example, increase your E&M complexity, right? Like I performed this exam, I interpreted the images, and you can still use this to kind of get your chart maybe from a 3 to a 4. So that's kind of one way of just looking at POCUS. And then there's like all these indirect benefits that can impact your bottom line. And that's really, having a differentiator if you're a primary care practice and an urgent care practice that wants to stand out. It's offering new services and attracting new patients to
Mhm.
your urgent care, and it's also providing that better care to the current, to the current patient, so they come back. Uh, and another thing is efficiency. I do think, although we are talking about, oh, you're going to spend extra 3 to 5 minutes to do this test, I actually think it makes the physicians more efficient, providers in general. For example, if you
Yeah,
decide to do
totally
an
true.
ultrasound, yeah, like do an ultrasound, for example, for a potential abscess, and then there is no fluid collection. So all of a sudden you're avoiding a whole IND, right? That's numbing the site, that's cutting into it, potentially dealing with a person who's really anxious about it, right? Like for me, that's at least 20 minutes of my time. And another thing is also a reminder that if you're sending people out to say do that DVT ultrasound, a lot of times you also have to follow it up, right? Not only do you need to arrange it, I don't know, like depends what support you have, but you might need to arrange it. You might need to make sure they actually go to it and then call them back with the results, which takes a lot more time than actually doing a quick scan at the bedside.
Mm.
And the third thing that I had mentioned is obviously the cost savings for the healthcare system in general and for the patient. And for the patient, it's also like the big thing is they're not missing potentially days from work. They don't need to get childcare for their kids, right? To go and do this follow-up test. I mean, this is huge.
Mm.
So I think there's just so many kind of benefits, financial benefits for POCUS. And I really don't think it's as big of a barrier as people believe it is.
Yeah. Fascinating. Yeah, that's interesting to hear you break it down that way because I think, with like anything, some of these barriers are a lot bigger in your mind than in reality. They're methods, there are proven ways to kind of get through those difficulties or that friction. It's real. It's not free. It's not, zero time commitment, but there are um, so many proven ways to get through it. So many other people, like yourselves who've done that.